is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. Jasmine, guys, in the building.
One time.
One of my favorites. One thing about Jasmine, whenever I call her, she calls me back. Whenever I text her, she texts me right back. I don't even get a chance to hit send.
Immediately.
And it's back.
I know. I've been working on that. That's one of my 60s resolutions.
Really?
Like, I needed new goals for being in my 60s.
How? 60 what? What do you say?
I will be 62 in March.
What? Yeah.
Time, yo.
And I was like, yo, you used to have goals and dreams and ambitions. And I said, well, I'm going to make up some more.
Yeah.
Because I was very goal-oriented in the beginning of my life. I think it changed when I had a kid.
Okay.
Like, I stopped realizing that life is going to take over.
Right.
Like, you're not always going to be able to do these in 5 years. and by the time I'm 30, Right. So I said, well, for my 60s, I want to enjoy my life. I want to, like when I went to the Emmys,
right.
and I went with my sister, we said to each other, we're just going to have fun because everything else was pending. I was always waiting.
Right.
When I was younger.
Okay.
So 40 years later, I'm looking back on my life instead of ahead, but I still need things to look forward to. And some of it is, be present in the moment. And I know I wasn't always present when I was younger.
Do you think
I was usually thinking ahead.
Were you trying to, you had these goals that you were setting for yourself. Did you take time to smell your flowers?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know that I really did. I was grateful and I appreciated it in real time.
Right.
But I feel at this point in my life, I have to do a little bit more than just be grateful. I have to give back. I have to answer my texts. Things like that. Like, be more... And then
be present.
Be more present and be there for other people.
Yeah.
Because after Corona and then the strike, those were just like, I just got used to being at home, doing everything from home. And now I'm going to more schools. With the different worldcasts, we go to a lot of schools and speak. And it just feels better to interact with the kids directly.
Yeah,
workshop classes, whatever.
We want to talk about the Emmy and some other stuff when we come back. And one of your biggest fans has done something. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but when we come back, we'll talk about something that he purchased on Amazon. Ryan Cameron Uncensored.
Is it for me?
You'll see. Jasmine, guys, in the studio with us right now. Have you recognized those on Big Ray right there? Those glasses he bought on Amazon.
You found those? I didn't know they had them.
I have the Dwayne Cleophas Wayne flip-up glasses.
Yes, and they're very fetching on you.
Right. Thank you.
Fetching.
Thank you.
I've been watching a lot of British TV.
and I'm going to recite these lines. Okay?
Here we go.
Will you have me, Dwayne, as your lawfully wedded husband from this day forth to having the hold? For richer and poor, baby, please.
Very good. You got the job.
I have a question, though, about that scene. And I heard a lot of that wasn't even scripted, yo.
He was supposed to do the whole vows. And he lost, he went up on his line. So he said, please, baby, please, which is from...
do the right thing?
No, from She's Got to Have It.
Yeah, She's Got to Have It.
Oh, no. Please, baby.
Wait, when he played Mars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. Plus, it was the longest hold. We didn't expect that kind of reaction. So it was the longest I ever held for the audience to come. Because you always hold for your laugh. And you try and catch it at the end of the laugh. Not cut the laugh off.
Right.
And I was just like, okay. And I was looking for poor Kadeem. They grabbing him. He's coming down the aisle like he's playing football.
That was such an iconic scene, though.
He was giving it up. And then when that was a great moment. And we did not do it again. That was the one take that we did.
This one, we go back to
Right. It was a little more complex of a shot than we usually did because we actually had a crane and the 4 cameras that we usually had. But the crane was getting... I'll remember how everywhere Whitley looked, she saw Dwayne's face or something. Those were done in front of the audience. So they saw the whole process, and we only did that part once because they were waiting. They built that scene up for him to.
It was iconic, still to this day. Mm-hmm. It's one of those scenes where if you come on and you turn on the television and that episode is on, people just, okay, let me sit down, let me grab me something to drink, because they're gonna watch it. Does that make you feel good?
It does, and especially because Kadeem and I really thought it was a little corny, and I said, oh, don't do the Graduate thing, because in The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman has that scene where he breaks up the girl's wedding.
Right.
And then Kadeem was thinking, yo, as a dude, I just would never do that. It's just so disrespectful. But all the women thought it was romantic. It's interesting because I did talk about this episode at Spelman to a group of students there, and their teacher had a different world course. Oh. And they were teaching things from specific episodes. And a lot of those young women didn't think that was romantic either. That you would just, and poor Byron, did anybody notice what happened to Byron?
Yeah, he
Where did he go? Did he
became
just
the
go
leader
into...
of MS.
B613.
Right.
He went on to become in B613.
Right.
And he birthed Olivia Pope. We all know
right.
that.
Okay. We all know.
Yeah.
So he was fine.
It worked out
He was fine, yeah.
We got more when we come back. Yeah. You back?
Okay.
Like Stevie Wonder Wayne. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. We have Jasmine Guy. Where's the Emmy? Where do you keep it?
My sister has it. She's mailing it to me because I couldn't,
Put it on the plane?
Yeah, it was too heavy. But she's sending it to me, and I'm going to put it on my piano.
Yes.
In the middle of, I didn't know that it would be, but it will be in the middle of a window, which is kind of obnoxious. But
why not?
Just in case I want to tell the rest of Midtown.
Hey!
Emmy up here in the house. So I'm excited to see it, though, because everybody wants to take a picture with it.
Yeah.
All my friends and stuff, so we're going to
have
a
major
Emmy
accomplishment.
Picture.
Yeah.
I really feel like, even though it was for the Chronicles of Jessica Wu, but it felt like it was for a different world.
Yeah.
And for Atlanta.
When you see all
like all my teachers, my performing arts school, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, look, thank y'all. Look what y'all did. What you poured into me.
For the people that are in arts and entertainment right now who are, studying to do what you do, what would you say to those people? Because I'm sure there are some times when, like I'll go to some place and they're like, you never know, that guy who's the waiter or that guy who's the busboy or that woman who's the hostess, they have dreams and aspirations too, but this is what they got to do to pay the bills. Yes,
this is probably a dilemma that most artists have in the beginning, is how to make a living. And some people are fortunate to be able to make a living doing what they love to do. And some people keep their art alive even though they're not making a living by it yet. We have a lot of theater here in Atlanta, as you know, because I've seen you in many plays. And I also want to encourage young people to not just go on raw talent, like take classes, whether they're drama classes or music classes or engineering.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities here now than when I was, growing up in the 70s here. This whole city has changed right before my eyes as far as the arts, entertainment, all the productions that are here. And with that interaction and being able to access these productions right here without having to move to New York is better to me for young people. Everybody doesn't need to leave home at 18 and go to New York and wing it.
Right.
It's not an emergency. You can still
have time.
Do stuff here before you leave.
Would you take it back to the stage? Would you like to do some stuff here in Atlanta, like some more live theater here?
I would. There are a couple of plays that I've been looking at. One is to direct, and one is to be in with another actor friend of mine. And I've been working with Terry Vaughn a lot.
Okay.
I wrote a pilot for her and me to do, and she wrote a pilot and gave me a job in her pilot. So somebody's going to get it. We're going to be working here because we were like, we want to work from Atlanta. I do Harlem, but it films in New York.
Okay.
So, and I love going to New York, but it's just so nice to really, to have a series here would be ideal. so I don't have to leave Atlanta that much.
Because you love it here.
I do.
It's your home.
It is, and I've, you know.
With the Emmy in the window.
And it will have an Emmy in the window. And I might surround it with my Image Awards.
Yay!
Just be really obnoxious. Put all my stuff on the piano.
And a cutout of you.
Right.
You we got more when we come back. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored.
Would you are the maven of the arts, dance, acting, singing. What do you think is missing in this generation for the arts, world to still exist? What do you feel is missing?
Well, we have to have our teachers, and so I don't want our artists to think that it's only performing. At some point, you're going to have to give back the experience that you have and what you know. And young people are far more savvy because they're aware, they can see so much more than what we saw growing up,
Right.
I always remind young people that I grew up with 3 stations. Y'all have 100 and something. It's a lot
Right.
to choose from and a lot to learn from. And there's some young, amazing talent. Have y'all seen the Color Purple movie?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm just sitting there amazed at and I saw Cynthia Erivo do it on Broadway. So the amount of talent that's out there, the level, and that a lot of our young actors are going to Juilliard, Yale, NYU, Carnegie Mellon, and they are getting their chops. So it's not all makeup and red carpets.
Right.
There's some grunt work that has to be done.
Talk about your matriculation, from when did you first get the bug, and then walk us through that, high school, then college. What was it when we first started saying, I like being on this stage. I like being in front of people and creating these characters. When did that start?
Well, I started dancing when I was a little kid, 5 or something.
Okay.
And I took dance lessons at the Spelman Dance School in their gym because they used to have a dance school for young people in the community.
Okay.
And then I went on to Northside School of Performing Arts, and I also danced with Atlanta Ballet. In the meantime, we're going to Alvin Ailey every year, and I'm 10 or 11 years old when I first see Revelations. And that's when I felt that's what I want to do when I grow up.
That was your moment.
I think I didn't realize you could do it as a job. I always wanted to dance, but I didn't know that it was a real job. So I thought, well, I want to be a dancer, but I guess I'll be a pediatrician too because I don't see any professional dancers, And I said that. And then when I told my parents, it was a deep conversation because, of course, they wanted me to go to college, and that was the plan. I got a scholarship to study at Ailey's for the summer.
Right.
And that summer, I was invited into their workshop company and then later into their junior company. And I also got Fame that year. So we're talking 79 or 80. I did the pilot for Fame and then the TV show. So it was kind of as if the world was opening up to me. But I always wanted to do that. I always loved musicals, too. And I had already done a few at Northside, West Side Story, Bye Bye Birdie. And, of course, when I was in New York, after I left Ailey's, I did a lot of theater, mostly theater. Bubbling Brown Sugar, The Wiz, Grease, Leader of the Pack,
Wow.
Beehive. So by the time I got School Days, it was very much like auditioning for a musical because we had to sing, dance, and act. Actors had to learn how to do the choreography. Dancers had to learn how to sing something and do a monologue. So it was just perfect for me. And the background of the other gypsies that were in that movie, that was our first movie, but we had been hitting for a while in New York. Kime, I did Bubbling Brown Sugar with. Eartha Robinson, I did Fame with. Most of my friends were jigaboos, by the way. So I was always at the Ramada Inn.
You just
I was always leaving in the middle of the night and scurrying over to the. We got put in separate hotels.
Really?
Yeah, that's
See, every time you come on the show, you tell something that nobody's ever heard before.
I thought, they put.
Okay, so let's go back. When you were filming.
When I was filming School Days, the Wannabes and the Gammas were in at the Regency Suites.
Right.
And the Jigs and the fellas were at the Ramada Inn.
By design.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they wanted y'all to come in with all that energy.
And so what was the casting
Because I was pissed. Because most of my friends, that's why I said most of my friends were jigs, but they wanted us to hang together,
right,
as well as create that tension, you know.
For real.
And I was just like, you know, that's what acting is. But I can understand why Spike was concerned with that many young people in their first movie. You know, Lawrence Fishburne, Sam, Giancarlo, they were seasoned actors, but a lot of us were doing a movie for the first time. So.
Yeah. When you say, I mean, if you're sitting up here and you just dropping these gems, you've been involved in some really iconic, dope stuff. Fame, School Days, Different World. I mean, you just really don't miss.
It was the timing. I mean, we were coming of age when because I knew Spike from Morehouse. I used to dance at Morehouse all the time when I was in high school.
Okay.
For their coronation or their fashion show, they were like, "Yeah, Rem Guy's daughter, she can dance." So, you know, I'd be there in my little chiffon skirt. But and Spike directed the coronation of his senior year, 1979. So when I got to New York, I would run into Spike, and he'd say, "You know, I'm doing another movie. You need to send me your picture. Don't mess up." And I was like, I don't know if I even had a headshot. Yeah. Because I was dancers. Dancers didn't really need headshots. But, that's how I got into
Harlem
that.
Nights, too?
With Eddie.
Come on.
And everybody in that movie. Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Della Reese. Oh, my goodness. I had so much fun.
Yeah, you are the culture.
Right.
Yeah, you deserve every flower.
Well, thank you so much.
We love you.
Hunted Debbie Allen down. She was doing West Side Story on Broadway.
And
that's how I got into the audition for the Fame pilot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been wonderful, and it's been like a dream meeting people that I, grew up loving.
Well, we're so happy that you... Ruby D.
Diane Carroll. I mean, just instead of it, I was like, "Yo, we got Shaft and Superfly in the same day on the show," because Ron O'Neal was playing my dad and
Richard Roundtree.
Richard Roundtree was playing Kimberly Reese's, and for some reason they wanted to set that same day, and I was just thrilled. They were young, so they didn't really feel the Superfly Shaft thing like I did. They were a little younger than me, but when you look at all the talent that came on A Different World and being able to talk to them and talk in between scenes, and I mean, Lena Horne, Heavy D.
Tupac.
Yeah.
Wow.
I tell you, she is the culture.
An amazing
iconic
career.
It's really a lot to look back on, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
it's amazing.
At this point, it's a biopic. It's a biopic waiting to happen, don't you think? Who would play you?
Who's gonna play little bitty Jasmine?
I'm saying,
what I was thinking.
Who's gonna play you?
I haven't even thought about a movie about Mav. No idea.
You've done so many things.
It's only natural.
It's only natural that it would happen. Like, who do you see and you say, well, she could probably play me?
I really don't know, Ryan. I have not even thought about that. I've thought about a movie about Debbie.
Yeah.
Because she really is. And then she is the common denominator. I don't know if you saw the Red Table interview with Jada. And so we're all there. We all had the first time I met Debbie story. Jada had one. I had one. Kadeem had one. And she has been in our lives since we were like 18 years old.
The true 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
For real.
She's
Debbie
a half
Allen.
a minute away. I thought about, I don't know, I got to think about that. Okay, what part of my life are we talking about? Like a little bitty kid, Jasmine?
Yeah, who started off?
Because is it a series or a movie?
It's got to be it's got to be a series.
Okay, that's a lot.
You're a genius. You're a genius series. Like Aretha Franklin, it can't be just one movie.
There's a lot of ground to travel.
Yeah,
I mean, one... Oh, did you see Dear Mama, the series?
No, I didn't.
I know. Obviously, I've been watching a lot of TV.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, I thought it was powerful. And there was so much in that series that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though some of it was happening when we knew each other, but I just didn't talk to him about that stuff.
Right. What was y'all's relationship?
We were talking more about like movies. I was trying to tell him that he can really act and don't let people say, because he's playing, like in Juice, I thought he was phenomenal. And everybody say, he just playing himself. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to play a character and make you think that that's really us?
Right? Yeah.
That's what acting is. Now, when you can see somebody acting, you're like, they are.
Right.
But then when he did Poetic Justice, there was that, he's a rapper and he's good looking. Like he's just riding on fame from his music. And I just mostly talked to him about acting roles, scripts he was writing, things I was working on, ideas that we have, some collaborative projects. I mean, we were supposed to do a Faney story together.
Yeah.
Before he passed. So there were creative and artistic kind of conversations, but I didn't know half of what was going on in his life. Like, I don't even know how he stayed sane with
all of that.
Yeah, when you see it in the series, and it's packed in like a 3 or 4 year period.
Yeah. Do you think there's
going, all of this happened and he hasn't even turned 25 yet? I mean, his personal life, his career, and then his political life. He wanted to be the head of the new Panther Party. I didn't know that either until I saw the series. So I know I digress.
Do you think there's some Tupac script somewhere that we haven't seen? You said he was working on movies.
Yes, he was writing Live to Tell, and they're still going to make it.
Okay, give me the premise.
It's basically loosely based on his life, but he fictionalized it. And he gave all his friends roles too, yeah.
Looking out for his people, as
always.
always.
In there, I was in there, Jada was in there. I was like, you need to write more movies. I like your movies. But, there was so much other stuff getting in the way of that kind of work. And I really hoped he would be, do movies like Ice Cube ended up doing movies. I really felt like he has that kind of power and that kind of presence. And he obviously can write.
Right.
Sometimes wonder, had he grown up, would he have been with, Snoop and these other rappers that have made transitions in their career?
Right.
Will.
Yeah.
To me, that was where he should have been.
Yeah.
Or could have been.
So, do you have a something in your brain that you want to do over? Like, is there a do over, something that you say, okay, let's bring the clocks back. I want to do this over. Do you have a do over?
Well, I did like. See, it's hard timing wise, but I did like Sparkle when it first came out, and I did like the do-over for that. So it would probably be something that affected me when I was young, like something from the 70s, and bring it back. Oh, and Dolomite was really good, too, speaking of the 70s. Did you see that movie?
I love it. Come on.
Okay.
Love Rudy Ray Moore. Come on.
Way down.
I thought Eddie and Wesley were so good in that movie. I don't know. I'm just enjoying all of the different kinds of work that we have to watch now.
Right.
We have such a breadth. Like I saw a documentary about Nikki Giovanni on HBO yesterday. It's just like, thank you.
Yeah.
We have more stories.
It's always great when you would discover stuff that you didn't know. Because all of a sudden, I've just been addicted to First Wives Club, and I didn't know it was just sitting over there. And next thing you know, I'm binging on. I was like,
I just saw it for the first time last week. I was like, this
man,
is
they got
good.
I thought it was one thing. It's like 3, 4 seasons.
Series,
yeah, I mean,
and they got Deborah Cox, and the cast is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I slept on that too.
We
I think I thought it was the First Wives Club, like the movie.
I did too.
With Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, I did too.
Which I did like, but that I didn't know that. And we have a lot of good documentaries out, that are telling our stories in a different way. I think sometimes we get in a rut with telling a story the same way. We had a lot of gangster movies in the 80s and 90s, a lot of Oh,
We
God.
had a lot of slave movies too. Then.
I was going to say slaves and gangsters.
We were slaving it up for a
Yep.
minute.
I've played a slave or two in my day.
Yeah.
And a concubine.
Yeah.
And, of course, the mulatto.
Right.
Can't get away from that.
North and South, right? That movie? Yeah.
North and South?
When you
no, Queen.
Queen, that's right.
When you hear the narrative that's been out there, because I'm glad that you brought that up because it just triggered something to me about what Gabrielle Union and what Taraji has said and what other people have said about the struggle of trying to get equal pay as an actress of color. Where do you land on that? Do you agree wholeheartedly, or do you think because of your career and being so storied that you've had more opportunities to kind of get, not saying it was favorite nation, but you got what you felt you deserved?
Usually I did, but I do know what they're saying. But I find that, they're really on another level than I ever reached. So I can only compare it to things that I've done. Like when I was on Broadway, I had a Favorite Nations with the lead, Roxy. When I usually tried to find out what other actors were doing in that genre, like what do sitcom actors make, because I just came from theater. I had no idea what I should ask for or not. And then, I had to work to get to that point where you can ask for what you want.
Right.
That first season of A Different World, we
You
were
told
not,
us.
you
didn't move out of your
demanding
apartment.
our salary. No, I didn't move. I didn't. I wasn't sure if we were going back to New York or not, me and Kadeen. But, and then knowing your worth, expecting a certain level of pay is important. It can also change the way you're treated.
Yeah.
If you are not, like, did you hear about, the movie with John Paul Getty's grandfather and the grandson gets kidnapped? It's based on a real story. Anyway, Getty's grandson got kidnapped, and Getty wouldn't give up the ransom because he said, if I do this, all my grandchildren will start getting, kidnapped.
Right.
So, anyway, they cut off the boy's ear and everything. He was holding out their grandfather. So Michelle Williams was the star of that with Mark Wahlberg. She finds out afterwards that they not only did not get equal pay, they have the same agent.
Wow.
And she was the star of that movie. So that was like, it's a gender thing as well as a race thing. So I'm sure those ladies being in the business as long as they have and proving over and over. I mean, Taraji, everything she touches turns to gold. I have not ever seen her in a weak or bad performance.
Right.
And for that alone, I hope she gets her propers. But for me, I've fluctuated from making, a lot of money, whether it's on TV or movies, and then doing theater again. And you're not going to make the same amount of money, but you also have to work for the experience.
Right.
And, theater is my first love, so it's worth the sacrifice. I really like the money job so that I have the freedom to do the other jobs. And I'm not totally, financially dependent on making that nut all the time. I have the artistic freedom to work with True Colors or a theatrical outfit or do a workshop at Spelman for free.
Yeah.
Your
love for Spelman goes deep.
Well, all my guy side of my family went to Spelman and Morehouse.
Okay.
My dad taught there. My uncle was the Glee Club director for 40 years at Morehouse.
Wow.
So in a way, I feel like we went there because we lived across the street. We learned how to ride our bikes on the campus of Morehouse. And we would literally go to their offices and go say, hey, Uncle Wendell. And, like we owned it. So I do feel that. And I also, even though I've only been to fictitious HBCUs,
right?
I love that we kind of put that institution on the map. Give them that feeling of pride and love that you get from a black school. I was shocked when I got to LA and nobody had heard of a black college or HBCU in LA. Not even the black people. It's really an East Coast kind of tradition.
Yeah.
And the power of it, You know, I have to credit Debbie for coming on that second season and just making it more real. Having gone to Howard, being more specific, being more flavorful, you know. Like, darling, where's the hot sauce? Because we didn't have hot sauce in the pit on the table.
Right.
She's looking at decor. She's looking at sets. She's doing wardrobe. She was the feeling, you know, she brought a lot of that, the frat life onto the show. And the excitement of going to a black school, too. Not just, I learned a lot just by being on the show there, culturally, having to maintain a certain standard. Although sometimes I did want to, you know, we couldn't do anything. It was like we were kind of clean.
Right. You wanted to wild out a little bit. Right. You wanted to act up.
Yeah, well, when Married with Children came on while we were on.
Right.
And I'd be watching them going, they can do anything.
Right.
They get talked back to their parents. They cuss it, you know. Plus, we, you know, Bill Cosby and Alvin Poussaint, they were like the quality monitors.
Right.
All the scripts went there, got checked, and then came back, you know, because they were very aware of what they were doing, what they were representing. And, of course, educationally, that was very important. So I love that I'm a part of all these things. I mean, it was exciting to work with people that I had already admired, and then to be a part of the wave of, you know, new talent like in School Days.
Well, congratulations on everything. Congratulations on the Emmy. And congratulations on your New Year's resolution to return text and calls. I can't wait to see how that works out. Get up a Jasmine guy.
Thank you so much.